Guys. Okay. Steve, we don't have Sky here yet, so you might have to start for us. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no problem. If you're all happy to go, I'll just crack off with a couple of questions then. Nuno, really good to see you. How are you? How are the team this week?
I think okay. Okay.
Good. Obviously, we're approaching an unusual tie. Wolves against a non-league side. Do you approach it any differently, given the fact that they are so far down the football pyramid?
No, we approach it exactly the same. We did the same approach, the same search for detail, with preparation for the game. The difference between divisions doesn't assure you the game, so we have to compete and play.
I'm sure you've been made aware of the history or that game back in 1986 where Wolves lost. Very, very different times, of course, but it is a reminder that anybody and anything can happen in the FA Cup.
Yeah, we don't have to go much further behind. Just recent history in football tells you that, especially in this competition, the FA Cup, things can happen, and we have to be aware of the responsibility that we have in this tie.
The Cup obviously means yet more fixtures in what is a very congested fixture run for you and for all the top flight clubs. Do you have to manage the squad particularly to allow for these games?
Yeah, basically because of situation that we have with some players out, some returning, some out, and what is in front of us, we have to be aware of what we have and make the best decisions for the game. But like always, the strongest squad that we can to compete well against Chorley.
Or just touch on the defeat to West Brom, if you don't mind. How has the team responded to that? Obviously, for the fans, it's a particularly big one. I guess for you guys, it's just another Premier League game, but for the fans, of course, it's one that matters.
No, it was not another Premier League. It was a tough moment. We all knew what it meant for all of us that are in Wolves, and we didn't achieve it. So, of course, we were disappointed.
Do you feel you've seen a positive response from the players? Yes,
of course. Responsibility that we have to improve, and we look forward for tomorrow.
And just on the players, how the fitness? Any particular injuries we need to know about?
You will know. You'll be informed of the. Just looking at the squad, we had some issues, so we are trying to manage them as best as we can.
That's great for me. Thank you very much, Nuno. Good luck on Friday.
Steve. Thank you.
Hi, Nuno. It's Rob Dorset at Sky. How are you doing?
Hello, Rob.
Can I ask you first, Nuno, about the Premier League clubs took a decision yesterday with regards to concussion substitutes. They will be introduced, but we don't know a date yet. I wonder what you made of that. What are your thoughts?
I'm totally supportive of the decision that was made. Makes total sense, and should be introduced as soon as possible.
Thank you. Steve alluded to it there. I think, Nuno, it feels to me like this is the first time in all of your time, in all of your 3.5 years at Wolves, that the team's going through, and yourself included, a difficult period. 6 Premier League games without a win. It speaks pretty strong volumes about how much you and the team have achieved, if this is the only bad spell you've had in 3.5 years. But do you feel it's inevitable that teams are going to go through bad spells? Can you ride it out like that, or do you have more deeper concerns?
My concern is as deeper as the situation requires. But what the situation requires is that we improve. And the only way that I know that we can improve is work harder, maintaining the unity and work together to improve our performances.
You've always been very loyal to your players, but you looked angry after the defeat to West Bromwich Albion. Have you had angry words with them?
I had the words that I have to do and to have with our players, because it's all about us looking and reflecting on what we are not doing so well and trying to bounce back so we can return to a better situation.
one thing you've done with this Wolves team is build a really strong foundation. But 12 games without a clean sheet now, that's very unlike Wolves, isn't it? Can you put your finger on what it is and what are you trying to do about it?
We're trying to find solutions. Like you say, it's true. It's our foundation. It's always the beginning of everything. Our shape, our consistency, trying to be as solid as possible. We're not doing that. So that requires a bigger effort, trying to maintain our level of focus through all the games, because we look at the games, situations that happen, especially in the beginning of the second half, the end of the games, and that really punishes us. So having absolutely awareness of our mistakes, because it's our mistakes, as the same that we score, we score, we did it. So it's about us solving the problems like we are doing, working. That was not even one day without the hard work, without commitment and dedication, because I repeat, it's the only way that you can improve is by working, not by speaking.
The transfer window's open, obviously, and we've been told you that you've agreed a deal with Real Sociedad for Willian Jose, but there might be some delays in getting him over here because while he applies for work permits and that sort of thing. What can you tell us about him, Nuno?
Exactly what you said, that there are things going on, but there's nothing signed yet, so we cannot speak too much about that situation yet.
Could you tell us what you like about the player?
Until he becomes a Wolves player, I will speak more deeply about him when things are all signed and ready to go.
That's absolutely fair enough. Do you feel though that with maybe him or others with fresh faces coming into the squad, it's exactly what you need right now? Some just injection of something a bit new, a bit different to try and rejuvenate things a little bit.
Now, what we tried with Morgan and Patrick, players that we recall, was to bring solutions, for that can help us, and always maintain the same position as long as the transfer window is open and we consider the work that we do behind the scenes, speaking and analyzing and looking at our present and our immediately future, we will make decisions. But I truly believe it's about improving the players that we have, the players that are here, to increase the level of performance, because I think we have quality enough to do better, and trying to find more solutions that can bring exactly what you need: help, players committed to the group and to the squad.
Good man. Best of luck. Thanks, Nuno.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
Hi Nuno, how are you?
Hello.
A difficult game, this one, because you can't win. And if you win the game, you're expected to win the game. If you lose the game, obviously there are big headlines made by your opponents. So it must be quite a hard game to manage, a hard game to prepare for.
It's exactly the same like last week and the previous week, and the game that is in front of us. It's a game of football that we have to compete. Don't avoid any kind of interference from outside expectations. Just focus on the task that we have to do against tomorrow, Chorley.
Will it be slightly easier, the fact there are no fans?
It's never. The absence of fans doesn't help anyone in football. We look forward to have all the fans back in football again.
But if there were fans there would be a real atmosphere. The home team would write. What I'm saying is it makes it more of a level playing field for you.
If we had fans last week, it would be different for sure, and the weeks before. So what we want is fans in every stadium.
When you played the game, did you ever play in a cup upset? Did you ever either playing in a team that was low down that beat a high team, or in a top team that was beaten by a non-league team? Have you ever experienced that before?
Yeah, I've been in football enough time to be on both sides of this situation. So I'm aware what it means for Chorley and what it means for us.
In terms of your team, they obviously need to find some form, and this might be the ideal opportunity.
The next game is always the ideal opportunity to improve on what you did wrong before.
Can you update us on how Raul Jimenez is getting on?
He's starting jogging. He's improving. He does a lot of perception work with lights and all these things to go back again, and he started some physical work already in the gym, the treadmill, running. So he's improving. It's getting better.
Is there any timeline for when he might be back?
No, we cannot put a time. Just hopefully things keep improving and we can rejoin the group soon.
And your passion for getting behind the concussion substitutes, which are going to come into the Premier League, is that obviously because of what happened to Raul at the Emirates?
I think the situation that occurred with Raul only reinforced something that everybody involved with the game was aware of. It's definitely a very good decision that can help us as a managers, and at the same time general awareness of what it means when some kind of concussion in your brain or your head can cause for the future. So having a general awareness of the situation is good for the game.
And finally, can you just give us a quick idea of what this month is like for you? Obviously, you don't want to talk about players that you're being linked with, and I understand that because there are other teams' players. But you've got players that other teams want, like, for example, Adama Traore has been linked with a move to Liverpool. What's that like as a manager during the month? Do you just try and not have the conversation with the player? Do you wait for the player to come to you to have a conversation? How does it happen?
With us, it's very natural. It's very natural. We don't guide our decisions based on rumors. So there's no kind of conversation needed when we're talking about ifs and rumors.
So if you're going past the canteen and Adama Traore is sitting there and he's been linked with Liverpool, you don't sort of go around the other way, or he doesn't go around the other way to avoid a conversation. You're quite happy just to meet up and chat about it.
I sit down with him and we eat together. This is what we do.
Thanks a lot, Nuno. Cheers.
Hello, Nuno. Just briefly from me about this game. Is it in any way more difficult to prepare for a game against a team like Chorley of that level? Because for most of your games in the Premier League, there is so much exposure and detail and research, as well as what you do yourselves. With respect to a team at that level, doesn't have so much television coverage and things like that. Does it make a material difference to your preparation?
We have less games available because Chorley is not competing. The last game that they had was against Derby, I think, or Peterborough, I don't know. But the game that we analyzed was against Derby, and we take a good look at their team, the way they do things, and tomorrow we pass the info to the players in the meeting. The process is always the same. The approach is exactly the same. No matter who you have in front, it's about what you want to do in the game, how you want to compete, and how ready you are to compete.
Indeed, and it will require that level of commitment as always, I imagine, because without knowing too much about Chorley's stadium and pitch, the weather in that part of the world has been very poor, and clearly it might not be the sort of surface that Premier League players are used to.
Yeah, that is a fact. We're gonna find a pitch that is not in the best conditions. We already had photos of the pitch taken. We know that the FA make an effort to try and preserve the pitch by covering. We are aware of all that, but with the weather conditions, we cannot expect any kind different than having a very difficult pitch to play football, and we have to adapt. We have to adapt to it.
Indeed, and I wonder whether that might be a factor. And I heard what you said about putting out a strong team, and as strong as you can. But with players who are coming back from injury, is that a factor that might sway a decision whether to play them one or the other? The fact that it is likely to be a heavy pitch.
Yeah, these all the details that we look for the game. Yeah, we have to be always searching for the best decision regarding the player and the team. But of course, we have to be aware how the pitch is going to be, how the game is going to start, how it's going to develop, if it's raining, and how is the pitch. So we'll have all this in our mind, but always choosing the strongest team that we can do.
Indeed. One more very quick thought, if I may, without giving anything away on transfers, and we always respect what you say, but as you're the man who in 10 days' time is going to be left with whatever squad you have, are you happy with the work that's going on at the moment? Are you satisfied with the progress that's being made?
Yes, yes. I think we've been taking our decisions with time, with dialogue, with considering all the factors that involve that decisions, recalling players like Morgan, what was the situations like Patrick, how he was before, so how we can help us. It's our own players, and as long as the transfer window is open, we don't speak about too much what is behind the scenes, but I can tell to you that we speak every day. We speak every day, and regarding the situation that we have to be really, really careful on decisions that we make, so we can improve.
Indeed. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, turn cameras off, please. Thank you.
Thanks so
And
much.
then
Good
we'll
luck.
move on to. Thanks, Steve.